concerns that arise regarding the security, you know, lapses, right? As Anjawala escaped from a guarded guest house where he and Gambaryan were held. Military personnel guarding the facility have been detained though, and investigations are underway. Like I said, our guest is joining us via phone call, and as you watch via the YouTube, you know, channel as well as the Facebook page, you get to also see what's going on in the studio. And he's in the person of Ahmed Abubakar, is an esquire, he's a lawyer, is a public affairs analyst. He's a human rights activist, and he's based right here in Abuja. Welcome aboard, Barrister Ahmed Abubakar.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Always a delight being here.
Quite a delight to also have a conversation with you. Let's jump right into it. I mean, we've seen what's going on. I mean, the remand of, you know, there's a remand. Well, there was a remand order with the FCC on these, you know, persons who have been detained somewhat. However, the questions arising would be, up until the events that, you know, happened, up until the escape of, you know, Anjawala, has been the matter that concerns whether or not such a person or such people, you know, should be housed in a guest house in the first place. What are your thoughts about the, you know, the entire situation, as it were?
Okay, the issue of detention by security agencies is provided by our laws.
Yeah.
How they go about is a completely different matter entirely.
Okay.
They take so many other considerations. The safety of the suspect himself is not all suspect that you can easily go and mix around with common criminals. And you look at the investigation is still ongoing. They need to be consistently interfacing with them. It involves having tech experts, having so many other things that ordinarily you will not get in our regular prisons. So you will not want to fault them for housing them in the guest house. This is a practice that has been on for a while. There are a lot of guest houses being used by security agencies to keep high profile suspects.
Right.
There's nothing unusual about it.
Okay.
And because you are in detention doesn't mean that your fundamental rights of religion and association should be violated, but measures should be taken to prevent what has happened.
Yeah, but before you go, you know, before I leave you off the hook on that one, for such a person, I mean, considering his antecedent and considering who he is, I mean, this is a director of Binance. Right? This is a director of Binance. Don't you think that it would be somewhat out of place? Okay, we just lost, you know, I guess, but then we'll get back to with him. But I mean, I'm talking to you too. I mean, there's some shared thoughts that says it is somewhat out of place, you know, to allow these persons access to phone calls, access to internet, access to quite a number of you know, liberties. And some are beginning to say that may be, you know, part of what has caused, you know, where we are, that led to the escape of Anjawala. I mean, what might be your stand in this regard, right?
Yeah, my stand is that if you look at in every clime, in every jurisdiction, different approach adopted in security issues.
Right.
As I said, this is an ongoing investigation. The prospect might be needed closely, and because you are a detainee, it doesn't mean that your fundamental right of belief, if you are a Muslim, if you are a Christian, you should be given adequate opportunity of observing your religious practice. But the extent of allowing him to go to the mosques,
right,
that ordinarily will call for a lot of suspicion, because there's nothing stopping him from praying inside the guest house.
Right.
We've seen a situation where we have somebody like Mahdi Shehu. When he was under detention, he pretended that he couldn't walk, but when he was left alone, they saw him praying in his cell. And the story might not relate, but I'm trying to make you to understand that people in detention are allowed to observe their prayer. So it's not a must, it's not a requirement that they should allow him to go to a nearby mosque because it's a Ramadan period. Ramadan or no Ramadan, he should pray where he is being kept. Okay. So the suspicion naturally will flow.
That being said, let's also look at the fact that, look, we're talking about a matter that concerns the NSA, right? And as many Nigerians, believe that there should be some collaboration between the NSA and the SSS or the DSS, if you like, in regards of with such matter. I mean, coming from the place whereby somebody would have come into the country with a British passport and then leave or exit the country whilst under investigation with a Kenyan passport. What does that? How does that, connect with you?
Yes, there is already, as we all agree, there are security breaches in all this whole thing, and you cannot overrule the human factor of compromise. If you know the people we are talking about the owners of Binance, a cryptocurrency platform,
right,
that does transaction in billions. In Nigeria alone, the estimated transaction is worth almost 20 billion or so. So you don't expect that he doesn't have the means and the ways that he could influence his escape. And if you are planning your escape, is to make concrete arrangement by bringing the passports. These are documents that could easily be forged. Forgery could be that they tampered with it. It could be that it was procured under false information. So the possibilities are there.
Well, let's open it up just a little bit. There are talks that says that he has two passports, one of British origin, the other of Kenyan origin, right? But then, if the British passport was seized, what happens? Why was the Kenyan passport not seized alongside? It raises that question. And another question would be, how could someone who is heavily guarded just maneuver himself in such a way within a period of time and then get to the airport, as news has it, even though it's not a certainty yet, that he must have gone with a particular airline. The name is just keeping now, but then a particular, is it Mid-Eastern airline? And all of that. So how can you go from someone who is heavily guarded? What does that tell you about, the security that we have, so far in the country in this regard?
What that tells is that there are a lot of breaches identified. There's room for compromise. There's every possibility that those protecting him could have compromised, and it's good thing that they've been arrested. Well, I said, if you look at the amount involved, these are billionaires in dollars. So if they have that much, they could have, the volume of what they control is in dollars. So what stops them from influencing a civil servant that's barely living for mouth to mouth in Abuja, and they've promised him maybe $1 billion, or they've actually given him $1 billion? He could do anything for that, and he will be ready to face the consequences. But I'm not encouraging it. It's something despicable. High net worth criminals should be, so suspects should be given high net worth protection.
But let's look at also, the place of compromise. And you've already talked about the complicity, part. But let's look at the place where some school of thought are beginning to say that maybe, just maybe, this entire escape thing was staged in the sense that there might be names, big names, high profile names that may go down the drain should Anjarwalla be tried in Nigeria for the alleged crimes on his head. What are your thoughts about that?
That there is a possibility. It could be possible that even the government on its own could have even allowed, security parlance. There are certain things that cannot or should or will not be explained to the ordinary person for security consideration. You are allowed to do anything if it will give peace and security a chance to the greater number, and that is why even the constitution allows for the taking of life so that the generality of the citizenry will have peace. In regards of compromise, transactions in Binance are quite protected, encrypted end to end. So I don't think because one or two people felt they've done it, it will be easily be revealed. Globally, they've been having that challenge of bringing cryptocurrency into regulatory framework and control. That has not been completely been achieved. And if you want to look at it from a wider angle, in response to your earlier question, as a citizen, you are allowed to have dual citizenship. You are allowed to have multiple citizenship. At the time of arrest, it is what the security operative sees in your house, in your offices, that they can impound. So there is a possibility that when he was arrested, British passport was what was found on him. Then because he's there, he has staff, he has people working under him. They could make arrangements. Maybe he had even envisaged a day like this, knowing what has been happening. Then he has a plan B, plan C, and up to D. So these things are not things that are out of the ordinary. It has happened in the past. It will continue to happen. This is not the first time high-profile individual. If you recall, only recently we have the former governor of Adamawa State, in person of Bala Inklari. In fact, he was in prison, government prison, and he found his way out. So it's not a new thing. We saw in Kuje prison, located in this capital of the country, terrorists convicted. Some of them are waiting trial. They escaped. A lot of them have not been found till this moment. So prison escape from prison is a global thing.
Isn't it worrisome?
What needs to be done is to learn from the lessons.
Isn't it worrisome to you that at this point in time, within the Nigerian polity, that we can still have things like this happening?
It will continue to happen if the necessary measures are not put in place. If you go to the prisons, you don't have adequate CCTV footage, you don't have CCTV installation that will cover a wide range. The security protection itself is, if you look at where the prison, I'm using Kuje prison as example, is easily accessible. I know the correctional services are making efforts to improve the security architectures of the prison, but if you look at it, it's humongous in terms of the cost implications. Some of these prisons are colonial legacies. Some of them have been in operation for a very long time, that the community have advanced and even approached their various locations. So effort needs to be made by the government to relocate some of those prisons, some of those so-called guest houses, some of those detention facilities. You go to our regular police station, how secure are they? Go to the various security outfits, if not those that are built recently, having in mind the transformation that has undergone in the country. If you refer to earlier ones, they still have that challenges. And if you look at it, no matter how secure a detention facility is, what about the personnel that is supposed to man it? If you can build a gate of, if you can build the famous China fence, and the people that are left there are people that their integrity are questionable, they can easily be compromised. So you don't keep a hungry man to guide a very wealthy person. The issue compromises are prevalent.
Okay, compromises are prevalent, but then let me also drive it, to another point. I mean, I know the calls are coming in already, but then let's drive it to the point of where, as it is alleged, right, from the stories that is available to us, that he went through the Mid Eastern, airliner, right? And then there is this place of whether or not such persons, such high-profile persons, like you rightfully mentioned, should be on a watch list. The reason being that by being on a watch list, it means that wherever you may find yourself trying to maybe get out or dodge, being held back and all of that, your details, should come up at the airport. So does it also mean that either from the house where he was lodged, where he was lodged, to the airport, there is some levels of compromise and complicity?
No, I don't think so. You see, for those in the security palace, you know that it's equally linked with bureaucracy. At this moment, he's just being investigated. His details are being taken. The paperwork are being you have to have check and balances. It's not that the moment somebody is invited, you'll be watch listed. I'm happy to inform you, and I've witnessed it personally, whereby suspects that are on watch list, the moment they step into the airports, the immigration officials, the security at the airport, they will nab them and call the relevant agency to come and pick up their suspect. I've seen it live. So we have it.
Be the same.
But what happened in this case is that he is just, I think they are in the first phase. They are just getting him arrested, getting the relevant court order to keep him for 14 days. They are still checking all his records. They are still taking statements before the other phase of watch listing him. What if in the course of getting statements on him, they found out that he is not culpable? The scarcity of resources, the paucity of funds, the personnel. You have to focus on what is important. Now that he has escaped, now he can be watch listed. The Interpol are already doing it. I can assure you, he can no longer board any flight anywhere in the world, because the moment he does that with his current identity, they will be able to get him. Right. But look at the Joker.
Yeah.
He can easily change his identity. He can have a face, what do they call it? Cosmetic surgery. He can. The crime world is advancing due to the technological advancement we are seeing in the civilized world. So it goes hand in hand. It's all that we want our security agencies to continue to live up to expectation. Will there be more breakup? Will there be more escape? Yes, there will be.
All right, but then a former assistant director, Department of State Services, that's the DSS, Dennis Amakri, while on national television, had come out to note that while he wasn't sure if the NSA, which acts as an advisory body to the president, has a detention facility, they ought to be handed, or they ought to have handed the crypto firm's executives either to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission or to the DSS for remand, if need be, pending court appearances. What do you think about that?
I completely agree with him on that, and I equally know the NSA ordinarily is an advisory organ. Right. They are supposed to be advising the presidency, and in that context, they work in collaboration with other security agencies, the EFCC, the police, the army, all the security agencies. The NSA, they do work with them. The office of the NSA work with them closely on advisory capacity. And having those facilities, I am aware the NSA are what at times they collaborate. You have a collaborative effort of various, for transparency purposes. They bring in the DSS, the police, the EFCC, immigration. They put them as a committee to investigate. We don't know if that is what has happened in this case. As you must have noted, is a sequential approach, a gradual approach. They take it phase by phase, and for the transparency that is required, other agencies could be involved. But you can even change the location of the investigation to the office of the National Security Officer. That is just for collaborative effort. Okay. When it's time for prosecution, the relevant and particular agency will be responsible for having the matter taken to court. In this case, the DSS, they have the facility, but it could be for whatever security consideration that it has not been done. Security is a very complex and dynamic whole gamut that it is not what you see that it might ordinarily be.
Okay, I totally agree with you, but I'll put a peg to your thoughts right there, because we've got to pay some bills. When we come back from the commercials, we'll have more conversation with you, Barrister Ahmed. All right, and yes, that is exactly what it is. Let's go pay some bills. We'll be right back. This is Eagles Outlook on Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja. Stay.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
I suppose it was inevitable. Eagles 102.3.
Hey Abuja, are you ready? Introducing IVR Arcade and Bowling. Your ultimate destination for fun and excitement like never before. Are you planning a birthday party or group event? Look no further. Bring your family and friends to IVR Arcade and Bowling, your ultimate destination for non-stop fun and excitement like never before. We've got unlimited virtual reality and arcade games, car simulator, air hockey, PlayStation 5 on a big screen, archery. Also, perfect your aim in our cutting-edge bowling alley and more. Kids can have a blast in our soft playground too. And don't forget to treat yourself to delicious snacks and drinks while you play. At IVR Arcade and Bowling, we specialize in creating memorable experiences. For reservations, call 0901-003-5935 or visit Cookies Mall, 2nd floor at Nitel Junction, Ademola Adetukumbo Crescent, Wuse 2, FCT, Abuja. IVR Arcade and Bowling, where fun and magic never ends.
Eagles.
No offense to the commercials. It's just that we want to see other audio.
Eagles 102.3.
The vibe is about to be lit. Don't you just love good music? I know you do. I don't really care if you're older. On Eagles 102.3 FM.
You want to know how to get the correct approval or documents for your land and property? Do you need the right information on how you can prevent your building from being demolished? Then tune in to Town Planning Program on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja every Thursday by 5 p.m.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This is the Eagles Outlook on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. My name is Udwak Daniel, and yes, we're still having a conversation that regards Binance'S director's escape from custody, and we have our guest who has been standing on ground in the person of Barrister Ahmed, and he has Abubakar, Barrister Ahmed Abubakar, I beg your pardon. He's a lawyer, public affairs analyst, and a human rights activist right here in Abuja. And yes, it's that time for you to also join the conversation. You can join via the studio number 0907 353 0044, and the other number is 0908 766 8888. And we've got the WhatsApp portal number at your disposal. You can get onto the WhatsApp portal number and let us have your take as well. What are your thoughts about the Binance'S director's escape, and what comes to mind, when you look at the entire story and the ramifications that surround it? Let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my dear brother Oja.
Yeah,
This is Alamin calling from Central Area.
Yeah, Alamin, welcome aboard.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Without mighty word, I think it's a national embarrassment. That he escaped. But at the same time, it is understandable, house arrest is quite different, from maximum security prison. And then
Sorry,
me personally,
I didn't get that part.
I said being under house arrest is different from being in a maximum security prison, correctional facility.
Yes.
And for me personally, I'm trying to actually, decipher the impact or the effect of his, abscondment on the case at hand. Remember, it is not Nadem that is being charged, but Binance Nigeria. And there is also a second colleague, that is in custody.
That's right.
And then, to the best of my knowledge, the government has already filed, there are charges against them at the federal high court here in Abuja. And then, on basis of tax evasion, refusing to file their tax return, and also aiding, Nigerians who are their customer to evade tax. So that, the escaping, apart from being a national embarrassment, and I always tell people, how would we Nigerians react to issue is my problem. Utuak, in September 6th last year, and a British soldier by the name Abid Khalif escaped from one of the most secure prison, Wandsworth prison in the UK. The UK, the British did not say that the UK has failed. In the US, in August 31st, the same last year, a very violent and dangerous felon by the name Danilo Kabakante, he also escaped from the Chester County maximum security. America did not say, their country has failed. So how we Nigerians react to issue is always my problem. That whenever issue happens, it is an opportunity for us to denigrate and condemn the country in totality. That is always what I've been against. This is not the first time it will be happening. It has happened in other climes. And do not forget, over 7 million in illegal migrants are entering the U.S. under Joe Biden. Americans are not saying their country has failed.
Okay.
Again, it is how we Nigerians react to issues that is always the problem. Thank you so much.
All right, it's the Nigerian reaction for you to the issues that is the problem. Okay, well, let's get on to our guest, Barrister Ahmed. You've heard Al-Amin. But
yes, I completely agree with what the last speaker has said.
Yeah.
This is not an unusual thing. It happens in every crime, more sophisticated crime. We have and we should not denigrate our government for an occurrence of this nature. What is needed is for what will happen afterwards, the investigation, the follow-up, and the preventive measures that we expect the government to take. The government needs to...
Hello? Hello, are you there? I think we're lost. Okay.
Whether religious, left health ground, and the government should pay attention on its detainees.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, you can keep that calls coming through and ask your questions and progress the conversation via the studio line 0907 353 0044 or 0908 766 8888. Get on to the WhatsApp portal number and let's have your take clearly via the WhatsApp portal number, and that is 0909705445. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Abela, good morning. This is Paul from Cairo.
All right, Paul, let's go. Let's hear you.
You see, so we can go and dig out history of other countries of all these kind of incidences that happen. But we need to look at our own peculiar situation in this country.
Okay.
It means there is a failure. There is an institutional failure. Who is responsible of either going to this organization to get our money out? Who is responsible of making sure that they pay their taxes before it gets to the failure of paying? Secondly, if we have these people under house arrest, it means the whole eyes of the security has been on them. You understand? We've had instances that we in this country that people do not have this kind of high profile cases, but they were kept indoor, well monitored. You see, this underscores the fact that we have a lacuna somewhere. A lot of issues happen in this country security-wise. We are supposed to have taken a cue and learn lessons from it. It's not the first time. We have had the Kuje prison break. We have had a lot of break. People escaping from prison. People killing this country. Now, if you have a high-profile case like this one, we are not denigrating the country, but we are calling on the country to put together their own house in order, especially in terms of security. Right. This is not just this one.
Okay.
We have so many people who are living, who are escaping from prison, especially terrorists and so on and so forth. So anything that has to do with insecurity, people's eyes are well open because of our own experiences.
Okay. All right, Paul.
So the government is supposed to sit down and look at all these scenarios. Even if they are using Interpol, they will ask a lot of questions. Who was responsible for that? If they left with another passport, who printed the passport? If they left through the airport, how did they pass through the airport? If they left through the land border, how did they pass? Those are the questions that government needs to answer. It's not as if we are blaming and saying it has never happened in another country. It has happened, but we should look at our own peculiar situation, that this reoccurring of all these situations. There's no solution to it.
All right, thank you,
Paul.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you so much. Paul right there says that it is we should look at the matter holistically and not just say that Nigerians are downgrading the government. But then well, let's hear from another caller. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Odua.
Yes, good morning to you. What's your name?
Good morning to the guest over there. This is Comrade Aruna on the line.
Good morning. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking your time to enlighten Nigerians on the issue at hand.
Right.
Thank you.
My contribution is America is a country that is over close to 200 years, if I'm not mistaken. I stand to be corrected. In terms of civilization and what have you, America have advanced. Why we Nigerians are condemning our own is somebody who is under house arrest, he finds his way out and use our international airports to leave the shore of this country. Is that not a slap to the nation? If there is any jailbreak in those developed countries, immediately that person's picture will be circulated. And you will see our citizen will be if they see that person, the citizen will start calling their 911 and what have you and say we've seen a person like this, like that. So Nigeria needs to speak up. I want whoever that is in charge of the correctional center or the house arrest, they should arrest those people and interrogate them, because I believe it is not a one-man job. This is a conniver of multiple and powerful people in this country, because if you observe the issue at hand, this is an organization that has a terrorism allegation.
Right.
You understand? So that is how I see it. We are not condemning our own country, but we are condemning the act out of it. We have bad heads everywhere. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much right there. Okay, Barrister, I mean, there's quite a...
Yes, I completely agree with what you have said in that context, but what you should note is that it just happened just yesterday, and for him to have used the international airport, he has not been declared wanted yet. That it takes procedural consideration. You have to be sure that he actually escaped, and then there was no connivance of any other person. And for your information, those that are responsible for safeguarding him, they have been arrested. We await the outcome of the investigation so that we will know what really happened, and then we can now have an informed opinion. Right now, the investigation over the entire matter is still ongoing. So let's not be too quick in completely condemning the security agencies. Work is still ongoing.
Okay, work is still ongoing, and just to also bring to your eardrums the fact that there are concerns about it around the international cooperation, but the federal government has engaged Interpol to issue an international arrest warrant for Anjarwalla, and efforts are still ongoing to locate him and as certain as intended destination. But then Binance too has also come out to saying that Anjarwala's departure from Nigeria custody, and they've come out to saying that it's focused on employee safety and that the company is collaborating with Nigerian authorities but does not disclose details of Anjarwala's escape. And then it is out there in mainstream knowledge the fact that, hey, probably Binance in itself would probably know where Anjarwala, is at the time. But then this incident occurred amidst Nigeria's crackdown on cryptocurrency trading platforms. And Binance is facing the music right there with so much scrutiny over alleged manipulation of the foreign exchange rate. Now, the saga is also highlighting some challenges of regulating cryptocurrencies and enforcing some levels of compliance in a rapidly evolving, digital landscape. Now, for you, Barrister, there is what do you make of the lack of collaboration? Because that's what many Nigerians are beginning to say and see, that look, we are not seeing a collaboration between the NSA, between the DSS, between the SSS, between the police and all of this. Do you think that this might just be the right time for such collaborations? And do you also consider the federal government's reaching out and asking for the helping hand of Interpol in catching or bringing back Anjarwala as a step in the right direction?
Thank you. Okay, thank you for your question. I want to assure you that collaborative effort between the office of the NSA, even though I'm not their spokesman, with other security agencies is continuous, is ongoing. And because of the nature of the work they do, they don't come out to make certain disclosure. But if you have reason to interface with them, I as a lawyer have represented clients that have been arrested or detained, and I know the effort the National Security Office they are playing in terms of ensuring that various security agencies, the EFCC, the police, the GSS, all work together in resolving cases that are before that are confronting the country. So I assure you that collaborative efforts, maybe you suggest that it should be more, but that is already ongoing. Then if you look at it, I want to look at it from another angle in terms of the expansive nature of what is being done. They have so many issues at hand. It's not all the time, as I said, security matters you come out to give disclosure on. Because if you do that, you compromise the exact thing you are trying to prevent. So for the general public, I am personally aware as a lawyer that the office of the NSC playing the role of advising the presidency to ensure that there is a collaborative effort, the synergy between amongst the various security agencies and even non-security agencies. They do come together and they work in resolving security-related issues. So that is ongoing. Maybe we should just improve what we are seeing. But in any case, even that is done, most of us will not be in an opportunity state to know what is ongoing, because security matters are treated differently. It's like judges on the bench, that you don't get to hear their opinion unless maybe by the judgment they deliver. So that obtains too in the office of the National Security Advisor.
All right, let's just take you to March 8th, where the exchange announced its decision to cease its naira to dollar exchange services in Nigeria, and that was due to a dispute, of course, with Nigerian authorities, who accused the platform of manipulating the country's foreign exchange rate. And even the Central Bank of Nigeria, Governor Yemi Cardoso, has said that over 26 billion US dollars in illicit funds had transited through the platform in the previous year. Now, you are a barrister. I'm coming from the place of government's legal action, right? The place of government's legal action. The charges against Binance executives likely stem from evidence gathered during investigations into their financial activities, and then there is the place that is saying that the federal government's tax evasion charges against Binance at the Federal High Court in Abuja, which implicated Ajawala and another executive that's in the person of Tigran Gambaryan. Right now, the legal action adds to the ongoing crackdown on cryptocurrency exchanges in Nigeria. But the question is, are we sure that we have the strong legal case which is sufficient with evidence, essential evidence, to bring the Binance, executive as well as the firm or the organization to book? Do we have that?
Okay. Yes. What ordinarily is not good to comment on matters before the court, but this so it will not be subjudiced or prejudiced.
Yeah.
But on a general note, what the government is doing is to have reason so that they can keep them without violating any law.
Okay.
They are being taken up on tax-related charges. These are just preliminary charge. The main charge is like the appetizer. This is just the appetizer that they are dishing out. This will enable the government to keep them in custody pending when investigation now that is ongoing will be concluded. When the investigation that is ongoing is concluded.
Are you there?
We focus more on
all
the aspects that are being investigated.
Right. All right.
So for now.
Yeah. Let's put a peg to your thoughts and take this call. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning to you, Dr. Woodward.
Good morning to you.
Yes. My name is Omotayo, reaching you from Galadima this morning.
Welcome aboard, Omotayo.
Yes. Dr. Woodward, you see, concerning this escape of the bank.
Yes, please.
You see, this is the problem. We have been complaining that the government is doing a complete disservice to the people of Nigeria.
Okay.
When the Kuje break, it is becoming a recurrent trend that high-profile criminals escape from their detention. When the thing happened in Kuje break, nobody was caught. Nobody went in for it. Nobody was tried for it. When these children were kidnapped recently in in Kaduna, Sokoto, and other places, Benue State, nobody was tried. Nobody went in for it. And we are hearing the issue is still on ground now, whether they get bribe or not. Even though I know $63 million in sum was what they gave to those guys. But that's what the issue.
Let's not go there. Let's not put things that we're not sure of. Okay, please.
That's fine, sir.
Yeah.
So in this issue of this, look, you see, when people put themselves up as whistleblowers to expose crimes and criminalities in government, because we all know very well that people in government, a lot of people, of the politicians are using that means to siphon money and move to other countries in dollars, in millions and billions of dollars. Now, if these people put themselves in line to expose this finance director, and now it is said that he escaped, how many securities do you think would have been put? Somebody that is a high-profile criminal, somebody that is a suspect. Because if he's not even criminal, why would he escape? Of course, escaping means it's actually a criminal, not even a suspect anymore. Now, when people put their life in line to expose such a person, and such a person escape, what do you think will happen to those people? They become prime target to those people who expose them, to those people they expose. So their lives are in danger. They will come after them and make sure they get them. You see, this is what we are saying. Because they know very well, the security agents, they must have agreed to probably collect bribes to allow this man escape, because they know very well that it is a recurrent trend that in Nigeria, nobody goes in for it. These people that they arrested, I tell you, just like this Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, today we are not hearing anything. That is how they will kill these issues, because it involves high-profile men in government. If you expose that, if you read that man is still in detention and they try him and investigate him, there are a lot of big politicians in this country also will be exposed. So they don't want it to happen. So politicians' hands are involved, very much involved. I didn't mention any politician, but I know very well nothing like this can happen in Nigeria without politicians being involved.
All right,
so that's what we are saying. They should stop lying to us. We know the truth.
All right.
They should come out plain. Thank you.
All right. Temperatures rising right there. Emotions going high. And sentiments running deeply. But Barrister Ahmed, one thing that Omotai said that got to me would be the place of always sweeping cases under the rug. I mean, at first, when the case comes up, it comes so mightily strong. It becomes hot, on the front burner, and then before you know it, when you think that the legal action is, being appropriated on these cases, you just begin to see them gradually go under the rug. What do you make of this?
I think this calls for citizen action. We should hold our government accountable. If you know of any matter that has been swept under the carpet, like the one you mentioned, it's our responsibility to sustain the tempo, to make sure that security agencies, law enforcement agencies come to a fruition in terms of investigation or prosecution of matters. It's a structural and a system thing that all of us need to see how we work around it.
Okay.
If you look at election matter, look at the speed at which it's being concluded. So the same attention that should be given to issues of terrorism, issues of corruption, there should be time frame where certain things should and must be concluded. We can only achieve that if all citizens, the way he called out, yes, is an important thing that should not be neglected. We should call out the government. We should hold our representative accountable. We have our members in the Senate, in the House of Rep. Laws should be made to see that time frame are pegged on related issues of great concern.
Okay, well, I just want to say thank you. I mean, want of time, we cannot go any further, but Barrister Ahmed Abubakar, thank you, far too kind for, adding your voice to the discourse, and it's been quite enlightening. We hope to have more conversation with you in the coming days.
Thank you for having me. Always a delight being here.
Awesome. All right, this is where we call it a close, but I want to say a big thank you to you for listening in, as well as to you for, putting the call through and, of course, adding your voice in the discourse. I mean, the matter is still under investigation, and the processes, rule of law, due process, and all of that, hopefully, would be maintained and followed, especially now that the Interpol has been also, brought into the picture. We are hoping that an arrest will be made, on him, and that justice will indeed be served. I mean, what he did to the Nigerian economy cannot be amended, so easily. But then it is, very noteworthy the fact that at least the federal government, is looking through the NSA, is also looking into this matter, and due diligence should be served in no time. This is where we say bye-bye. I want to say have a great day and standing, because top of the hour 10 will be time for, the midday, show with Martha. And until tomorrow, my name is Udwak Daniel. Have a great day.